everybody, welcome to the channel. In this video I am going to show you how to get a computer, I should say Windows, to run off a thumb drive here. Now as you can see, I have my SSD out of the computer. The reason I have that out is for transparency, so people don't think, oh, you're not doing it, this video is fake. Well, this is not fake. Now the only thing is, with this you have to use the light versions of the OS. Now I did this a while ago, a few years ago, on an external hard drive. At the time SSDs were still very new, and it worked. It was the full install of Windows XP at the time. Now, this is about the fourth time I filmed this video, and I tried to use the full version of XP on here. Now, the issue is it took forever. It took about 3 hours to install, just to format the drive, because I wanted to put Windows 10 on it. Now, with that, this natively is formatted as FAT32, which stands for All File Allocation 32. So, with that, I formatted this as NTFS, just to see if I could get Windows 10 installed. Now here's the kicker. With Windows 10, it will not see this in the installation part, where it says select your drive. Here is why they don't want that. The reason Microsoft doesn't want that, because with Windows 10 I could pull this out, go to another computer, put it in, turn it on, Windows 10 will reset itself, but I'm using the volume license that I had bought. You're not supposed to do that. Now with XP it won't work either, because it'll go to the boot splash screen, it'll say Windows XP Pro or Windows XP Home, and then reboot. You get that boot loop with the older operating system, because the motherboard profile that's on here is not the one that's in the computer. So with that said, let's get started here. So I already put a light version, it's called Windows XP Micro, and it's a super slimmed down version of Windows XP. And what that does is it takes all the stuff out. So you could have literally a computer that was set up to run 98 that can't handle XP to run XP, but you have to have the light versions of the OS for this to work. So, and the problem is they're not official releases, but if you're going to do it to your own stuff, and I can't stress this enough, only do this to your own stuff, and when you're done, you zero out the drive, wipe it clean, because you don't want to get any software that you're not supposed to have out there. So, with that said, let's boot this baby back up, because I had it running earlier. And be forewarned, that thumb drive is going to get real hot. Zoom in on it. This version of Windows is only 100 megabits. So it's very, very slimmed down. At the time it was used for legacy PCs, as I stated in an older video, for older computers at the time. This is perfect for this. They do make Windows 7 Lite. It's not an official Microsoft product. And they make Windows 10 Lite. Which is everything stripped down. Now, as you know, because somebody asked me in a previous video, hey, can you install Windows XP on an external hard drive? Yes, you can. It will take a little longer to do it, but you can. But make sure you have a real external hard drive, not a thumb drive. Because the problem with the thumb drives is it's used to store data. That's it. Not run an operating system. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a 16 gig drive. That is my thumb drive, as you saw when I posted it in front of the camera. Yes, it's formatted as NTFS. Windows 10 will not see this. As I stated earlier, that's why they don't want it. I would have to load the drivers manually. That is too much work for what this video is about. This is about trying to get something to work in an emergency situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Alright, so now I have a blank drive. In this case, it's a thumb drive. So I'm going to push enter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to use this. So I'm going to press C. And I'm going to do the NTFS quick. And just for clarity, this is the SSD that I pulled out of my system. So now we're going to see this work. Now this is where it's going to take a little bit. And the reason that is, even though this is the light version, the full version stalled out so badly because this is the first time I'm doing it on a thumb drive. And basically where you get that boot loop is Windows' way of preventing you from using a volume license on a different machine. That's all it is. That's all it is. You see how fast it's going? If this was not the light version, it would not be going this quickly. I'm not sure if I stated, but this is micro XP. And we're already at 39%. It took an hour and a half with the full version to get here. And I do have Windows 10 Lite somewhere. And all the Lite versions, from what I have seen, are 32-bit. It's only been about 4 minutes. And I'll admit, I do have a spinner installed in this machine, but it is not hooked up whatsoever. This is all thumb drive. That IP config is for networking purposes. That's what it's used for. If you ever see me on an, I believe I did it in one of the videos, ipconfig/release, ipconfig/renew. That file right there enables Windows to let me do that. Now, you're going to ask me, is this something computer guys normally do? No, it is not. But I like to think outside the box. So that way, if there is a temporary solution for something, I like to use it. Because I would never actually tell someone to do this. Now, unless, okay, they have to have a report due the next day. They have to send important emails to important people. You have to receive emails. Now, here is the issue with modern day machines. If I would go buy a brand new machine and try to do this with this, it would be a little harder to do. So if you have like a 9-10-year-old computer lying around, you could do that, and let's say the hard drive doesn't work or the SSD doesn't work, you could do that with this. Then you'd be okay. Or if you sometimes, a lot of people print reports out and they take them to work with them the next day, you could do that with this. Just print it out. Nobody will know the difference. It might test your nerves a little bit, but it'll work. So yeah, this does right. We're at 72% right now. These are the big files that the operating system needs. Now, as I stated, DLL stands for Dynamic Link Libraries. But I will show you with the Linux distribution, if I would do the same thing with the Linux distribution, I could take it off this computer, put my thumb drive into another computer, and boot the operating system, no question. As I stated, Windows has a ton of security features, so I can't do that. Plus, it's not good to do that anyway. Now, one time I did take, speaking of drives, one time I did take it was a family member's computer, I built him a new one. And what I did is I pulled the hard drive out with all the software on it, put it in a new one, and it reset. Windows 10 has that reset capability to do a factory default. And I did that, and it worked for a little bit, but then I had to, and this is just my experience, everybody's experience with it is a little different. Then I had to actually reload Windows because it was acting kind of funny. But that was because there was another problem, and that's why I was doing that. But everybody's experience with that is a little different. Now, as I stated earlier, these light versions of the operating systems are fan made. So, if you're going to build a computer and sell it under any circumstances, do not try to sell a computer with this on it, because if somebody really wanted to get you in trouble for something, you can. That's why always use legit software if you're building a computer for somebody. Now, with trial keys, what's nice about Windows 10 is you can test it out before you activate it, and you get a certain amount of days. So, in the trial, like if I ever show a video and I happen to show a trial key, that key happens to be that Windows 10 trial key is the same for everybody. So that way when you go update it, that Microsoft server is going to know, hey, you're a trial key. You have 30 days to activate it. So they're what they call WSUS, which is, I know I said this before, Windows Server Update Service. We'll read that and then go, hey, you're a trial key. Okay, so and this dynamic link library is huge. We have a little more ways to go. So we're almost done here. Now, if I remember correctly, since I only used this operating system once, a few years ago, there is no graphical user interface install, like the real full XP. Do this, it's still the blue screen, and then when it reboots, you go directly into the operating system. And see, the setup is doing it just like this. So it's very, very what they call attack surface. So the attack surface of this is very minimal compared to Windows. And now it's going to copy more files for what it needs. Now the computer is restarted, and we are going to go into the operating system itself. And there we go. So it's slowly going into it. Remember, this is a thumb drive. And there we go. So, unfortunately, with Windows, this will not work. I will try it with Linux, though, and see what happens. So, anyway, that is it for this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And click that bell for more notifications.